Good evening and welcome once again to another program of Issues in the News, where we discuss the important events that would have taken place in Guyana over the past week or so. And as is a norm, we always have a packed agenda of issues to discuss. I want to begin by welcoming all of you who are joining us on television from Region 5 and Region 6. Welcome to another program of Issues in the News. To our viewers and listeners who are joining us on Facebook from Freedom Radio, Rob Street, Georgetown, welcome to another program of Issues in the News. And to all of you who are joining us on Facebook Live across the length and breadth of Guyana, the Caribbean, North America, Europe, Asia, and even beyond. Welcome to another program of Issues in the News. Please press the share button on your phone. Share the program on your computer, on your iPad, on your tablet, on your phone, or whatever instrument you're using to view the program on. Share it so that all your viewers and all your friends and all your followers can join us in tonight's discussions. I see hundreds of you are already on. Leslie Mongal, Fred Samwaru, Soma Bipat, Ramesh Soni, Greg Hill, Shamo Gir, Stanley Ramcharan, Pati Prasad, Pam Singh. Welcome all of you. Share the live, share the program so that all your friends and all your followers can join us in tonight's discussion. Use the comment section also to register your views, ask questions, request clarifications, and engage in discussions. I want this program to be as interactive as possible. Remember, I always say, that one of the main purpose of this program is for us to learn. It has an educational component. You can teach me and I can teach you, and we can learn together. That's one of the main purpose of this program. So again, use the comment section intelligently and share the program so that all your friends and all your followers can join us in tonight's discussions. As you may know already, the Honorable Chief Justice Roxanne George Wilshire, Senior Counsel, handed down a historic ruling, or two historic rulings today in the High Court, in which she dismissed two cases filed by Christopher Ram and Vishnu Bandhu respectively. Christopher Ram was represented by Kamal Ramkaran and Vishnu Bandhu by Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford. They both sought to challenge the Guyana electoral system in its current construct. They challenged the constitutionality of certain provisions of the Representation of the People Act, contending that provisions of the Constitution those provisions of the Act, contravened certain articles of the Constitution. There is a video that is on my page in which I sought to explain in some great detail and as simple as I possibly could the important issues that came up in the case and the manner in which the submissions unfolded and the eventual ruling of the court. So I will not rehash that here on this program. I know many of you have looked at it, and if you have not and you're interested, the video is up and it's rolling on my page, and you can get, I believe, a good synopsis of the legal challenges, the legal issues that were raised, and how the issues were addressed, and how the court determined the issues in both cases. Both cases were dismissed, and the Chief Justice labeled them as frivolous and without merit. and she appropriately awarded costs against each applicant to the tune of $500,000 each. I think more costs should have been awarded. These cases take a long time to research, they take a long time to prepare, they take a long time to defend, they take a lot out of you in terms of writing submissions, attending court, arguing over and over again, reading case law authorities from different jurisdictions of the globe. And we really need to review the principles that currently are being applied in relation to the computation of costs when a case is concluded. The costs awarded by the courts, bear no resemblance to the actual costs that is endured in conducting one of these cases from either side, whether you're the applicant or the defendant or respondent, as the case may be. Litigation is very time consuming, very expensive, and it is tedious work. And when these cases are filed, they involve matters of national importance, and one can't delegate them to any and all lawyers. You know, it requires the attention of the Attorney General himself, and that, anyhow, let me don't say more on that matter. So the elections campaign is now intensifying. We are entering the final month to the polls. So no doubt we will see an intensification of the campaign by all the parties involved. And we are going to get a lot of information being generated in the public domain and being disseminated by the respective political parties. And no doubt the competition is natural and healthy, and it is part of our democratic ethos, and we must welcome healthy competition. But my observation is that politicians in particular in the opposition are exercising very little restraint and indeed very little reason and discretion in the promises that they are making to the population. I believe it has to do with the fact that they know that they are not going to be in government, and therefore they will not have to deliver on these promises. In any event, the APNU, AFC, and PNC have a track record of not delivering promises made. So they don't care. They are indifferent whether they win the government or not, because they have a long track record of never delivering on what they promise. In fact, the program will not permit me, or the time on the program will not permit me, but I can demonstrate to you that they do most times the opposite of what they promise. And I've been demonstrating that more and more at political meetings at which I speak. So they are not affected mentally and psychologically and personally by whether they can deliver. Because whether they win, lose, or draw, they don't deliver anyhow. So they fall into that category. And the issue in relation to them is also compounded by the fact that they know they cannot win. So there is an added impetus now to make even grander and more fanciful promises. And then you have them on one side, and then the other side, you have an amalgamation of a whole host of other parties, none of whom have any chance of winning, and they, by themselves, are also making grand promises of an incredible and incredulous nature. The PPP, on the other hand, doesn't have that luxury at our disposal. We have always maintained over the years that we will never make promises that we cannot deliver. And we have sustained that reputation and record. And because of that reputation and record, a trust has been created in the relationship that we have with the electorate. So the electorate knows that we will never make exorbitant promises, unwarranted promises, unsustainable promises, incredible promises, and promises that we have no intentions of fulfilling. We will never do that. But when you are competing in an environment when there is promise galore, when promises are made of everything under the sun, sometimes you operate at a disadvantage because you can't compete with the unsustainable and sometimes not definitely unsustainable promises. And you find yourselves being outmatched in the avalanche of ridiculous, fanciful, nebulous, and capricious promises. But that is the price, I suppose, one has to pay if one wants to remain a party that is mature, that is committed, that wants to maintain a relationship of trust with the electorate, and who wants to be you want to be a credible voice in the electoral campaign. And that is what the PPP has been doing for decades, and we are continuing to do in this election. So I see one presidential candidate promising house lots free for every person who attains the age of 18 years. And there is no explanation how this is going to be done, no estimation of how many house lots we are speaking about, and where the money will come from, and what will happen to the backlog of existing house lots applications if you're going to only address those who turn 18, and what about those who have turned 18 already and are not given a house lot. And I could go into any one of these promises, the different things that are not being told to you. But these promises are being dangled in front of people with the hope, I suppose, of conning them into believing. Now, this party, when it was in government, between 2015 to 2020, did not develop a single housing scheme. did not develop a single housing scheme to which it can point and say, as part of the coalition government, we delivered, we constructed or we built this housing scheme. None. What they did for 5 years was simply distribute house lots that were left back by the PPP government in housing schemes built by PPP government. And to distribute those house lots, they only did about 7,000 in 5 years. We have done 50,000 in 5 years. We gave out the 50,000th title. Last week, our Minister of Housing did that. 50,000 in a 5-year period. These guys are new housing schemes. These guys did not do a single housing scheme. They gave 7,000 house lots from remaining PPP housing schemes when we were in government. And out of the 7,000, I am telling you, about 5,000 or more were given to their family and relatives, not to the ordinary Guyanese. But they are out of government now, and they are promising one house lot for every person who turns 18, free of cost. That is the kind of three-card trick that the population is being dealt with whole day. Then I see another one that says that they are going to introduce school feeding program, and you're going to get cash grant to go to travel to school, and you're going to get free meal. When this party was in government, they took away the cash grant. They abolished the school feeding program. They abolished the uniform feeding program. They imposed VAT on education. Now they are out of government. Instead of doing the very things that they are promising now when they were in government, they didn't do it, they did the opposite. They did exactly the opposite. They penalized the children. Now they are out of government. They're playing the three-card trick now to trick you, trick the population. And that is what is taking place right across the election campaign spectrum. The promises are becoming more ridiculous as we get closer to the elections. Huge sums of money are promised as cash grant. Huge sums of money are promised in different form of financial transfers. Tax breaks of an unprecedented nature. None of these things are sustainable. They are just to lure the population, just to fool people. And I don't know whether these political leaders who are making these promises, whether they are stupid or they think that our population are so stupid. I'm not sure which one. Because no intelligent person will believe these promises, because they are simply unsustainable. Sometimes they border on ridiculousness, but they're being pumped down every day on the social media platform and at the political parties. So I don't know whether they believe the population is so stupid or they are stupid. I'm not sure which one. But then if we take what Mr. Norton says, and Mr. Norton says, I have it somewhere here. He says the population of Guyana consists of a large percentage of illiterates. This is Mr. Norton saying to the Guyanese population, a large percentage of you are illiterate. Maybe that's why he feels that he can tell you anything. and you will absorb it, you will believe it, and you will give him a chance. And you will not think for yourself, but wait, this man's party was in government between 2015 and 2020 and did nothing. Didn't do these things. Now they are out of government, they are promising. And that is permeating the political campaign. And the opposition leader of the country, who sees himself as a very experienced population, tells the population that that he wants to vote for him, that a large percentage of them are illiterate. And when these guys lose the elections, they will blame GCOM. They will blame the PPP. They will cry fraud. They will fault the voters list. You will hear the excuses. They will not fault themselves for not articulating a plan for the future development of this country. They will not fault themselves for copying and plagiarizing the policies of the PPP and just say that they're going to better it by simply quoting a higher number. All the measures that they're speaking about are measures that we have promised, but they are going higher in number. So if we say we are going to do something for 100,000, they are saying they will do it and they will give out 500,000. That's what they're doing. Copycat politics. No originality. No sustainable plan to create jobs, to attract investments, to build the democratic credentials of this country, to bring macroeconomic stability. Nothing that will push our country in the direction in which it is going. Nothing of that type. Sporadic, whimsical, and capricious promises of a piecemeal nature involving cash handouts. That is how they are campaigning. That's their manifesto. And when the people come September the 1st, when the people reject them, you will hear how they will cry that they were robbed and the PPP rigged all sorts of things. What is missing in the opposition camp is a credible voice. And cutting across the board, a credible voice. You're not hearing that. So you have Jurita Finance, who gave a speech in her capacity as prime ministerial candidate in her hometown at Bartica, which coincidentally attracted a crowd of less than 100 persons in her hometown, a stronghold of the PNC. And in the course of her speech, she appointed half of the cabinet. Norton must have been absolutely shocked because she appointed half of the cabinet right there in her speech. These people are nowhere close to winning the government. They are not concentrating on a developmental plan to create jobs for your children or to secure the future of this country, economically, socially, and otherwise. No plan about that. Not even a plan to deal with Venezuela. We have not heard from them yet. But they know who will get what post. Should a remote occasion arises of a victory for them, that's not going to happen, but I'm just telling you. So among the persons that was identified for appointment is this fella Dexter Todd. Now Dexter Todd, bring the Kaiju newspaper for me yesterday. Dexter Todd, and today, both are outside, is an attorney at law, and I think this is the first time he's mounting the political platform. And of every topic that there is to speak about, Dexter Todd decides that he will take on the mantle of defending APNU AFC attempts at rigging the 2020 elections. And this is what he says at a meeting at Baggotsville. They want to say that APNU rigged the last elections. They didn't rig it, Dexter Todd. They attempted to rig it. Bring your facts. The lies that they have been telling you is that APNU must account to you for robbing this country of democracy. That is a lie. That is a lie. We must be bold enough to tell them that if they have the facts, bring the facts. We don't have to bring the facts. We saw that you attempted to steal elections. We are the eyewitnesses. Guyana, the people of Guyana are eyewitnesses. Eyewitnesses don't bring facts. Eyewitnesses say what they see. And it was shown to the world via social media by those who are not in Guyana. They saw it on Facebook. The videos are there. The people don't have to bring no facts to you. The people them saw. And immediately after he said that, I posted the video on my Facebook page of what Bruce Golding said, the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, who headed the OAS, the Organization of American States Observer Team. The man said it was the most transparent attempt he has ever seen made to alter the lawful results of an election. And the man went through statements of poll by statements of poll and showed what Bingo tried to declare and what the statements of poll actually say. Dexter Todd, you want facts? And when a person can say this, you know that something is mentally wrong with them. This guy could have spoken on any other matter. This is what he chose to speak on in his debut speech, his maiden political address apparently. The worst area. Now when you tell this to a population, and the international community hearing you. The Carter Center is here. They witness what you did. The Commonwealth Observer Team is here. They witness what you did. Many other observers are here. They witness what you did. The diplomatic community documented what you did. 100 governments across the globe condemned what you did. And you still running around the place telling people to show you facts. There's a gentleman named Samuel Sandy. He was vice chairman of he's vice chairman of Region 4. He's a former member of the PNC. I think he resigned now. He says that he has all the statements of poll that show that you lost the elections. He said he went to Congress Place and he showed it and they told him to be quiet. He had the statements of poll that established that Mingo was calling the wrong numbers. But you know, Dexter Todd is one of them who's defending the miscreants in the court. He's one of them. But I say to you what he said to the meeting to demonstrate to you the level of degenerate content that is coming from the opposition in the campaign. And when every sensible Guyanese know that what he's talking is nonsense, and they reject them, you will hear a big hue and cry. But he said something which I want to read and leave with you because I found it amazing. He said, I heard him say it, and then it's recorded in the Kaicho News, Monday, July the 28th, 2025 at page 6. Todd flays PPP for attacks on professionals, as the heading of the article. But this is the passage that I want to share with you. Todd defended his qualifications by highlighting his extensive international legal experience. And there's a quote now, I quote, Todd is speaking, I coordinate forensic for the entire continent of Africa, over 54 countries. This guy says that he coordinates forensic for the entire continent of Africa. Africa got over 1.5 billion people. Africa got millions of professors, highly qualified forensic experts, millions of professors lecturing at university, etc. Dozens, if not thousands, of universities in Africa. And Dexter Todd tells us that I coordinate forensics for the entire continent of Africa, over 54 countries. Well, comrade, I will leave that with you. I will leave that with you. I'm not going to say any more about that gentleman. But that's the people who are campaigning to be elected. We have a population of 750,000 people. Africa has a 1.5 billion people. One of the oldest civilizations on the planet. And they're coming to Guyana to retain Dexter Todd to coordinate for them forensic for the entire continent of Africa. That's what the man told Bagelston. As I buy it, I am selling it to you. I have not put on a single cent as profit. You put that in your pipe and smoke it. That is the level of debate coming from the opposition. And then you have Mr. Mohammed. Now I see some controversy seem to have arisen because of a statement made by the U.S. ambassador. Now, it's not my place to defend the U.S. ambassador. The OFAC sanctions, as published in OFAC official publication, sets out explicitly the consequences and implications that will flow from the sanctioned persons, or consequences that will flow from persons dealing with the sanctioned persons and the sanctioned businesses. They first set out what the sanctions are, and they set out how persons can be implicated in the sanctions as well and can be penalized if they are found associated with the sanctioned individual and sanctioned persons. That is not a matter of conjecture. That is not a matter of opinion. That is set out as a narrative of facts in the OFAC sanctioned documents itself. And it is on the website, I think, of the State Department or one of those departments where it's supposed to be. And it's you can go and read it. And among the repercussions are not only well, first of all, American businesses, if they deal with the sanctioned individuals, they can also be sanctioned. Now, if that is a statement of fact, one can, and we have been saying that, that is a statement of fact based upon what is published. And all the reporters who have reported on this matter have quoted directly from that website. It also speaks to non-US companies and non-US persons who can also be sanctioned if they transact business with or are found to be associated with sanctioned companies and sanctioned persons. There's no contention about these things. So if a person is to say that if a sanctioned person is elected to the parliament, then once you are elected to the parliament, you become part of the government, because the government of Guyana consists of an executive, a legislature, and the judiciary. And once you form part of the governance structure of the country, there are going to be repercussions. That is a statement of fact. The Guyanese electorate will have to deal with that. And the Guyanese people will have to deal with that. And that is why we are saying, this is not a normal competitor. This is a person, if he's elected, will expose the country to harm. He has already been exposing the people associated with him to harm. Visas have already been revoked. Persons are being questioned at the airports. And that has begun a long time ago. Look how many persons have lost their bank accounts at one commercial bank. And I said since last week that once one commercial bank move in this direction, it means that they have determined a threat in the financial system. And the financial system is interconnected. And once there is a threat somewhere in the system, it will contaminate the entire system. And other banks will have to follow suit. And just before I commenced this program, there is a news story that another bank has begun the process of closing down people's accounts with the bank because of their association with Mohammed. I said that that is how the AML-CFT framework operates. As Minister of Legal Affairs, I hold responsibility for that sector. Our system was already contaminated once when we were blacklisted because of the APNU AFC one-seat majority being used to vote down important bits of legislation that we needed to strengthen our financial system. So the Guyanese financial system is not unaware of how sanctions operate. So they are taking the required appropriate actions to protect their system from contamination. And I said that this will happen. And that is what the Guyanese voter has to understand. And I am not saying this because I want to interfere with the outcome of any elections. whoever win the election, these are the consequences that you will have to face if sanctioned people are elected. You can say what you want to say about that. That is a fact. I see Kaijo News has obviously appointed itself, or has been appointed, the PR organ of Mohammed. And that's Kaijo News right, I suppose. But what we are speaking about here is not about influencing elections. Mohammed has already qualified to contest the elections. He satisfies all the requirements and he will be contesting the elections. Every Guyanese has a duty, in my respectful view, to speak about the possible consequences that will flow if he is anywhere close to the government of Guyana, whosoever constitute that government. Whosoever constitute that government. He is a threat to the stability of the government. That is what that is the implications and repercussions of being a sanctioned individual. And we have to deal with that reality. No amount of sugarcoating will change that. And I know he has experts working in the US doing a lot of PR work for him. I know all of that. And you're seeing their strategies being disseminated through various organs and agencies. So Travis Chase, for example, no doubt Travis Chase is working for him because Travis Chase is running a narrative about government ministers being sanctioned. That is a direct response to the Mohammed sanctions, and that's part of their PR strategy. Travis Chase is part and parcel of that. You don't have to be you don't have to be a genius to figure these things out. And these PR advice is coming from experts that have been hired in the US and elsewhere. Because, you know, there's no shortage of funds. But these are things that we have to discuss. We have to discuss. So I don't share the view that there is any attempt to interfere with any elections. Every Guyanese ought to express this view. If a person is representing the interest of companies that feel that they're going to be affected, isn't that person, I don't know. I don't know how you're seeing it. But we have been saying these things long before any ambassador said them. We have been saying this. And what we have said coming to pass, one after another. So, and I see also, and there's another strategy that I see at work. A strategy to say, to create the impression that the PPP is frantic, the PPP is afraid, the PPP is scared. Of what? But that's another strategy, another PR strategy that they are spinning out. The PPP, as you are seeing, is getting the largest turnouts ever in the history of this country, at rallies and at all of our political meetings. We are able to campaign in this election in places that we have never campaigned before, and getting audience and getting crowds. And when you look at the PNC in traditional strongholds of the PNC, they are not even posting the pictures because nobody coming out to see them or hear them. They had meetings in Sophia, not a single picture. They had meetings in a meeting in Melanie. They imported a crowd. It was not an East Coast crowd. They had meetings in Bartica. You're not seeing anybody in the crowd. And that is the reality. We are not complacent at all. And we have to work hard like everyone else. But we have a plan. And we have documents that we are circulating with our plans, our programs, our achievements, our policies. And we have been talking to the people. Thousands and thousands of these pamphlets and flyers have been given into the hands of Guyanese from all walks of life, all races, delivered to their homes. That is the type of work that we are doing. And we speak to the creation of jobs. We illustrate to the people how we plan to create tens of thousands more jobs for Guyanese, how we plan to expand our economy, how we intend to make more land available for farmers, how we intend to open up new lands, how we intend to build the infrastructure of our country, how we intend to educate our children, how we plan to develop health care to make our country a healthy country, how we plan to make our communities secure, installing street lights, cameras, how we intend to keep our communities clean, garbage collection, garbage disposal facilities, public car parks for big vehicles, places for small businesses to go up. We have a plan to do a developmental bank that will provide financing for young people in particular at concessionary rates. We have a plan to attract investments, more and more investments, so that more jobs can be created, better quality jobs. We have a plan to move our economy to a digital economy. We are passing legislation to that effect. We have the One ID card that will come. All of these are new vistas of development, all intended to create a more prosperous life for Guyana, to make Guyanese Guyana a more comfortable place. We have a plan to unite our people. And we are talking this every day. Every aspect of life in Guyana we have a plan for. Our farmers, we have plans how they will advance their crop production, fertilizer subsidy, new breeds, investments, foreign investments in agro, the Gas to Shore project, to address permanently our energy issue. Our energy issue is a major challenge. It affects our ability to manufacture and manufacture at a scale that we would like to manufacture. That is the type of conversation that we are having with the people of Guyana. And they are listening. We are not making pie in the sky promises. We are making promises that are real. We are telling people about this is your pension now, how high we can take it, and why we can't take it beyond this until a particular time. And we have been giving people this so they know that we have a track record of delivering. Look at the advances that we have made in education. Look at the number of jobs that we have created in the local content, with the local content legislation. ExxonMobil said it's about 10,000, directly and indirectly. Hundreds of billions of dollars, billions of US dollars generated in the economy from the local sector onto the oil and gas sector because of the local content law. We have 10 hotels that are being under construction, 5-star hotels, thousands of jobs they will create. We have to train our people to be prepared for these jobs. And that's why we have this gold scholarship that is educating our people while they work, not only in academic pursuits, but in technical and vocational training. That's the type of promises, real promises, promises that people can relate to. They are plans that are on the ground already, so people can see it. They are relating to it. And we don't spend too much time with it. The people are seeing the infrastructural transformation taking place. They are seeing the Demerara Harbour Bridge. They are seeing the new Crane Highway, the Heroes Highway, and all the East Coast roads that are under construction. They are seeing all of that. And then we have empowerment policies for vulnerable groups. And that's why I speak about every single group in our country. We have a policy and a program for. The Amerindian communities, we have a plan for them. We are already electrifying the Amerindian communities. All the secondary schools, we are building them out in the Amerindian communities. We have put back nearly 3,000 CSOs to work. They have fired 2,000 of them. Thousands of people are now back on the job. We have created 60,000 jobs over the past 5 years. And we lost 2 years to COVID. So people are seeing this. And that is why they are embracing us. And they are welcoming us into their community. And that is why we firmly believe that we are very close to achieving true national unity in this country. And we are working every day to achieve that, while others are making fanciful promises that they will never be able to deliver. Never be able to deliver. I see one political leader now, I don't know if that's how they will campaign, but she has begun to sing. She is not speaking anymore. Maybe she doesn't have anything to say. So I'm told her she's singing at karaoke now at public meetings. And that must be a level of desperation. And that's the difference between the two political parties, or the different political parties, as we accelerate our campaign. And you will hear more and more of us as the campaign increases. Tomorrow, I will be in Linden, where I am leading a team from the Deeds and Commercial Registry Authority, and we will establish an office of the Deeds and Commercial Authority in Region 10 for the first time in the history of our country. Another promise delivered by President Ali. And then we'll have a public meeting in Linden, and we are going to, I will be in Kokwani as well to do a public meeting in that community. But we are going to be in Linden tomorrow, and we will launch the Deeds and Commercial Registry Authority so that the people of Linden, the people of Region 10, the people of Wisma and all the surrounding areas in Region 10 can access the vital services that this institution provides. You can do all your transports and all your title transactions, all your registration of businesses, renewal of registration, registration of deeds, filing of all legal documents can be done right in Linden. And these little things that have been overlooked for years are making significant differences in the lives of our people as we continue to build a prosperous and future Guyana. I want to thank all of you for spending the past hour with me. I believe I've covered a number of important issues. I will see you again next week, Tuesday, as we resume this important discussion. Thank you very much for your attention, and may God continue to bless you. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.